Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, welcome to my channel if you're new, hello, my name is Casper. I talk a lot on here about being autistic because, shock horror, I am autistic. But I don't talk much about friends and family members of those who are autistic. And I do get a couple of comments on videos that I make being like, oh, I'm not actually autistic, but my partner is, and this has really helped me support them, so thank you. Firstly, you're more than welcome. I greatly encourage comments. I love hearing from you guys, and I love hearing that I've helped you because that's what these videos are for. But I thought I'd sit down and actually talk to you guys about what sort of things are helpful when trying to support someone who has autism. I will probably do a video in the future aimed at like parents and teachers and stuff, but this is more just friends and adult family members. Again, if you want to see stuff that to maybe avoid, I'll do that if this video does well. So yeah, as an autistic person, I can only talk for myself and my point of view and what I would have found helpful or do find helpful. But this is also stuff that I find quite common in the community and quite encouraged among the community, if that makes any sense. But throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. If it doesn't, that's okay. But obviously it's not one size fits all because autistic people aren't all the same, contrary to popular belief. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and get with it. So the first thing is research. Now I think this is arguably the most important thing. Research about them, about autism, about the things that maybe they might find helpful, research about their special interest, find what support services and what accommodations are available in your area or any events that you're going to, because sometimes third-hand parties are needed, and that's okay because that's what they're there for. I've had quite a few times when I've told people that I'm autistic, them saying things or doing things that have the best intentions at heart, but can be harmful. I feel like that's a little bit extreme, but not beneficial basically in the long run, for whatever reason. And again, I may talk about that in a different video. So yeah, so researching what, terminology, meltdowns, what are those, what are shutdowns, what's the difference, things like that. And that can, if you have more knowledge about it, then you're better equipped to assist them when needed as well. Following on from that is probably talking to them. Talking to them about what they need and what they find helpful or don't find helpful. Because like everyone else, autistic people are individuals. They need different levels of support and they need different modifications of those support. So a level or a kind of support that may help one autistic person may not help another. So talking to that person and seeing what they personally need can be really meaningful to them. And again, depending on your relation to them can depend on what level of support you or they may feel comfortable giving. So I think knowing your boundaries as well when it comes to supporting them can be really important. But yeah, it's better to ask them than, just giving support that they may not need. And if you don't ask, you don't know. So item number 3, I know we're going through this quite quickly, but is encouraging them. So this can be anything from encouraging them to eat and drink, because often we don't have the same hunger cues and thirst cues as you guys do. So just be like, hey, remember to eat something today, or remember to go to the toilet, or take your jacket off, or take an extra layer today, because we're not in that good communication with our bodies, so we often don't know. Or it can be something like encouraging them to use their sensory equipment or accommodations when they need to, so like fidget toys or ear defenders, stuff like that, because particularly when we're out in public, we're very reluctant to use them even when we really need them. But I think just encouraging them that that's what they're there for, and if they help, then that's all that really matters. It could take a lot of courage for us to use things like that out in public or just in general. Or it can be something like encouraging them to reach out for support because there is only so much support that you can give them, and knowing when to reach out for support as well. Again, I will link below websites, support services, anything that I think is useful or I have found useful in the description below, because it's important. It's important to access those services because, like I said, that's what they're there for. And as autistic people, we struggle a lot to regulate our emotions, and it plays a massive part in our mental health, which is why a lot of autistic people also struggle with their mental health. Number 4 is be clear and concise in your wording, in your meaning. If you're upset, tell them. If you don't want to talk to them anymore, tell them. You know, we often prefer just outright blatancy and being blunt than beating around the bush, because it saves us a lot of strife and it saves you a lot of strife as well. Because again, we can't regulate our emotions in the same way that you do. We often feel emotions very, very intensely. So it can save a lot of distress on both sides, I think. And often we might misconstrue things, which again can cause confusion. So if you're clear, concise with what you mean and what you say, it can save a lot of bother. You know, keeping to routines, things like that. We're often very, you know, we're open books pretty much because we just do the same thing every single day. I think lastly, reach out for support if you need it, because particularly if you live with that person, it can take a massive toll on you and your mental health. So knowing when to reach out for support for yourself, and knowing when you need to take a step back from that person, from supporting that person. There's lots of support services, there's lots of charities out there that will, you know, respite centres, things like that, if that is needed. Utilise them, because like I said, that's what they're there for. There's lots of charities and there's lots of groups, Facebook groups and stuff like that, for aimed at people, and put together by people who are loved ones or friends of people with autism. And having that support network for yourself can better help you, and in the long run better help the other person as well, because as cringy as it sounds, you can't pour from an empty cup. So ensuring that you're okay can help them as well. That is everything. I will leave links and websites and support services in the description box below. I hope you guys found that somewhat informative. If you have anything else to add, please put in the comments. I'll be back with another video next week. If you have any suggestions of what you want to see, put them in the comments below. Follow me on the Instagram at creating.casper. And until then, I shall see you next week. Stay safe.